This is CBC Vancouver News.
Danger on BC roads. One person is dead and several others are injured in two separate crashes in the Lower Mainland. Plus,
Her decision not to purchase American alcohol would definitely send a message. It is one of the things that could be on the table to respond to these tariffs. They are completely unjustified.
facing U.S. tariff threats, BC's Premier mulls potentially halting the import of American alcohol into the province. Why the move is drawing mixed reactions. And
we don't know whether it's going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or months long. And that's a real concern.
a construction project could force closures at a U.S. border crossing connecting the township of Langley. Why that could hurt businesses here. Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Yasmine Ghania. One person is dead and others are injured after 5 vehicles, including a bus, got into a collision on the Patello Bridge between New Westminster and Surrey. Police say the crash on the east end of the bridge happened around 8:30 a.m. Officials say a female driver died at the scene. 2 people were taken to hospital, one in serious condition and another in stable condition. The Patello Bridge was closed to traffic for about 10 hours, but has since reopened. Meanwhile, police say a pedestrian was seriously injured after a hit and run in Delta Sunday. Police say they were called out to 66th Avenue and Scott Road around 7 a.m. They say officers found a 25-year-old Surrey man with serious and extensive injuries after reports of a crash. They say the driver of the vehicle involved fled the scene. Police say the suspect was in a black car, likely a sedan, going south on Scott Road. Delta police are asking anyone with information to contact them. Well, U.S. President Donald Trump could slap Canada with tariffs in less than a week. To hit back, BC's Premier is floating the idea of halting the import of American alcohol into the province. But as Michelle Morton reports, the possible ban is drawing mixed reactions.
Wine, beer, and other types of alcohol from the United States are well stocked in BC liquor stores. But if some have their way when these are gone, that might be it. In the face of a potential trade war, the Premier is suggesting the province could stop buying and selling American booze if U.S. President Donald Trump follows through on his threat to impose a 25% tariff on Canadian imports as early as February 1st.
Our decision not to purchase American alcohol would definitely send a message. It is one of the things that could be on the table to respond to these tariffs. They are completely unjustified.
This proposal is being seen by some industry experts as an opportunity to showcase products made local in BC and across Canada.
If you stop or slow down American spirits or wine coming in, you force British Columbians to look at the wealth of what they have in their own backyard. And often I think we're so overwhelmed by the noise, by just how much volume is in these government liquor stores. And to be honest, it takes away from the brilliance of what we have right here.
But others worry this move would actually backfire.
Our industry is quite small compared to, companies like Jack Daniels in the United States. So we would not be able to deal with that entire demand just based on domestic products, and the prices would be more expensive.
If there was a trade war, then we'll have to shift. We would probably shift to, obviously France, Italy would be the most logical ones. But, the problem is they take longer to get here. They're sometimes a bit more costly because of the transportation.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and premiers have said they are trying to dismantle long-standing internal barriers to make it easier to trade goods across provincial borders.
Maybe this is the catalyst for us to look at those issues like interprovincial trade and open it up so that every province can help co-power those other provinces, and how we can work together to be a bit more self-sufficient and to drive our own Canadian economy and to stop being so insular ourselves.
Meanwhile, EB is encouraging British Columbians to check labels before buying them to make sure they're supporting goods made in Canada. Michelle Morton, CBC News, Vancouver.
Major renovations are planned for a U.S. border crossing that connects Aldergrove in the township of Langley with Lyndon, Washington. The months-long project could mean closures, and as Saurabh Sandhu reports, that could hurt BC businesses.
Around 45,000 trucks travel through this border crossing connecting Aldergrove and Lyndon, Washington each year, says the Greater Langley Chamber of Commerce. Now it's facing a possible shutdown on the U.S. side. The U.S. General Administration is planning to expand both the Lyndon and the Abbotsford-Sumas crossings, a project that could take up to 2 years to complete and could cause port of entry closures for an unknown period of time.
Let's say they close the border for 3 weeks. Okay, that manageable, understandable, can do that. Any longer than that, it becomes a challenge and a long-term challenge, longer-term ramifications.
U.S. officials are deciding whether to temporarily shut down the Lyndon crossing as it would cut down construction time. It's a proposition that's concerning to businesses on both sides of the border.
If it becomes a hassle for people to not go north, do they not come at all, or do they go to other communities in the area instead of going to Langley?
U.S. officials say the Lyndon crossing is no longer able to meet the operational needs of customs and border protection, impacting trade and increasing wait times at other commercial ports throughout Western Washington. Once completed, the border will have 5 personal vehicle lanes and 4 commercial lanes.
It's a straight shot up Highway 13 to the Gloucester Business District. There's 15,000 employees, 200 businesses there. Why that's so strategic is that they can get all their goods on a truck and go straight down to one of these border crossings.
He says BC businesses are already at risk because of Donald Trump's tariff threat, and that any closure of the port of entry could make things worse.
Your citizens come down to purchase their dairy products, and then that, of course, leads them into town to maybe pick up a sandwich, a bite to eat, head into Bellingham.
The border renovations could be completed by 2028. The Canadian Border Services Agency says it continues to collaborate with its counterparts on the U.S. side and is assessing the impact of the construction, but it would not say if this Canadian port of entry could be closed as a result of the expansion on the other side. Saurabh Sandhu, CBC News, Township of Langley.
If you live in Vancouver, water may soon cost you more. Most people in the city pay a flat rate and can use as much as they want, but City Council has voted to look at ways to bring in universal water metering faster. Chad Pawson has more on the push to save a precious resource.
In Vancouver neighborhoods like this, the majority of homes don't have water meters. Owners pay a flat rate, no matter how much they use. City Council says that's antiquated.
We turn off our lights when we leave. We get a bill for electricity. We can see how much we use. Even when we get a cell phone, we buy a plan that supports our usage. And water is one core asset that I don't think we can take for granted.
There's no requirement for water meters on existing homes like these. Citywide, only about 13% have them. The city does have a plan to have water meters on all homes by 2040, but some councillors say that's too slow considering climate change, drought risks, and conservation. Experts agree.
We already meter electricity, and nobody would second guess electricity metering. You should pay for what you use, and if you use water excessively, then we don't want people to free ride.
So what's getting in the way? Despite savings and conservation over the long term, upfront costs with water meters can be steep. Hooking up a single one can run as much as $1,500.
I am very conscious, and I have heard from those who are concerned about the actual hard costs, which are at this point kind of unknown to us.
The regional government has studied cities with universal water metering, like Richmond and West Vancouver. It argues there are creative ways to afford them with positive financial returns and water savings pooling up over time.
Seattle, Victoria, Portland, they're all metered. They all use significantly less water than Metro Vancouver. And we're one of the last remaining cities of our size in North America without meters in place. So I think the data is really clear in the benefits of metering.
So now Vancouver city staff will have to figure out how many homes still need a water meter, how much they will cost, and how to potentially speed up the process faster than a trickling 15-year timeline. Chad Pawson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Animal welfare advocates are applauding the city of Port Moody's decision to ban mobile petting zoos.
They're often marketed as being educational in nature, but the research really indicates that there's very little education value for mobile petting zoos, and these events really perpetuate the notion that animals are here for our entertainment, which is certainly not a message that we should be teaching children.
The society says mobile zoos are stressful for the animals and also pose health and safety concerns for the people interacting with them. It says Port Moody also banned rodeos back in 2023 after residents expressed concerns. Well, it's another low snow year for many Nordic ski clubs across BC, leaving it up to ski trail groomers to make the most out of the flakes that do fall. Shelley Joyce has more.
Good morning.
Hello there. How's the temperature this morning?
We're sitting at -12. The greens have been groomed. They were rolled for the skate lanes, but the classic lanes are in not bad shape.
It takes more than bitter cold and a lack of snow to keep some people off the cross-country ski trails.
We could use a bit more snow to cover up the debris from the last windstorm, but the skiing's actually pretty good.
A low snow season makes grooming trails like these near Lac Lejeune an exercise in technique and patience to coax the best out of what Mother Nature has to offer.
We're grooming the skate lane right now. The tiller in the back chews up the snow and regenerates the snow, but because the snow is so hard and compact, we need to go at a very slow speed.
Right now we're on the cusp of being able not to use our big machines. We still can, but they're very difficult to use right now in the low, hard packed snow. So we have been using our snowmobiles a lot more to groom our trails.
When the snow is really skimpy, too thin and hard packed for the big machines, the groomers pull out the snowmobiles and rake the surface to create texture.
We can't really predict what the future is going to bring for us, but the consensus is that we're probably going to deal with less snow in the future. So we've been putting a lot of work into our summer grooming to make sure our trails are as smooth as possible. Right now we can probably get operating with under 10 centimeters of snow.
Despite the absence of new snow, the Overlanders Ski Club has noticed an uptick in ski rentals and new members.
It's really exciting because our groomers are able to put out magical trails that are accessible for people who are new as well. And that magic moment of when someone who has gone skiing for the first time comes back into the rental shop, super stoked on the activity, and this is their new way to love winter, and they love this, is so rewarding.
These groomers are all volunteers. They spend hours each week, nights and early mornings mostly, creating a coveted surface that skiers call corduroy.
My favorite moment to see the kids on the snow is a lot of fun. On a bright sunny day like today, there's just nothing like it. For me personally, to be up in the morning and to watch the sunrise on some of the trails and then look behind me and see the nice glistening carpet that we make for our skiers really feels good to me.
Shelley Joyce, CBC News, Lac Lejeune, BC.
Coming up, Canadians pay some of the highest rates in the world for telecom services, but some people are getting discounts while others are not. Find out why in our Go Public investigation next. When it comes to telco services, it's no secret Canadians pay some of the highest rates in the world. But some consumers say they're also facing unequal treatment when they try to dispute price hikes. In this Go Public investigation, Erica Johnson looks into why some people get a discount while others don't.
Okay, I'll have to phone them about that.
When Sharon Vincent saw a price hike on her Rogers bill just a month after signing a 2-year contract,
With Rogers Xfinity,
she called the telco provider to dispute the extra $21 in charges.
I wasn't able to get anything.
As Go Public has reported, last fall, Rogers raised the price of TV box rentals, allowed to hike prices thanks to a contract clause Vincent says wasn't explained.
I don't understand why they would do that. It's a money grab.
We heard from hundreds of angry Rogers customers who felt misled over the price hike. Now there's new grounds for outrage. Some got their bills lowered when they called to complain, but others, no luck.
I just think it's disgusting. You treat all your customers the same way if you want a good, successful business without a lot of complaints.
This MP says he's hearing complaints too from constituents, people who just don't have the time to do battle with Rogers.
It can be used against you as a consumer because you don't get the same benefits that other people that have those skill sets or have that experience or have that time will get.
Frustrating, he says, because big telcos like Rogers have received hundreds of millions from government over the past decade.
So we're being abused by our own product.
Even before the price hike, Rogers customers were fed up with their bills. A recent report from the telco mediator shows that complaints about billing issues jumped over the past year, up 103%. A spokesperson for Rogers wouldn't comment on why some customers get a break and others don't, but said the company works with customers to meet their needs and budget. After we contacted Rogers about Sharon Vincent's case, she called her telecom provider again. Says this time a customer service rep could miraculously knock $18 off her bill. Erica Johnson, CBC News, Vancouver.
Israel says its blockade inside Gaza will end tomorrow. Today, the blockade remained unmoved, as did the tens of thousands of Palestinians waiting to cross it. A dispute over one Israeli hostage was eventually settled, but as Chris Brown tells us, another controversy erupted.
A sea of people desperate to resume their lives amid Gaza's destruction tried to return to their neighborhoods in the north, only to be blocked because of disagreements between Israel and Hamas over the terms of the tenuous ceasefire. But as they waited, comments Donald Trump made on Air Force One about their future in Gaza ricocheted across the Middle East.
I mean, you're talking about probably 1.5 million people, and we just clean out that whole thing.
By clean out, Trump said Jordan and Egypt should permanently or temporarily build housing for Palestinians and they can live there instead. An incendiary suggestion, as hundreds of thousands of Palestinians were uprooted from their homes when Israel was created in 1948 and during subsequent wars. This is our country and our land and the land of our ancestors. We want to live and die on it, said Saya al-Sekwali. A Hamas official in Egypt also said Palestinian people will never leave the Gaza Strip. And Jordan's foreign minister gave a firm no. Whether Trump's comments represent a shift in U.S. policy is unclear. But this Israeli analyst who worked on the Oslo peace accords says displacement is the worst possible solution.
That there is no Palestinian, as far as I know, that can accept his deal, okay, what he calls deal.
Who should govern Gaza and how are the existential questions facing Palestinians and Israelis as both sides work to implement the ceasefire after a second successful hostage-prisoner exchange Saturday. While Israelis celebrated, Benjamin Netanyahu's government has refused to discuss any long-term plan, and some in Tel Aviv said they fear without it, war will resume. Zif Shani is a retired Israeli Air Force engineer.
That's why we don't have to just to conclude, bring back the hostages. We have to think of the date of tomorrow.
and the next week.
Among the few groups saying they were pleased with Trump's comments about cleaning out Gaza were Israel's far-right settlers who want the Palestinian lands for themselves. Chris Brown, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Lebanese health officials say Israeli forces killed at least 22 people and injured more than 100 who were demanding Israel withdraw from southern Lebanon. Residents of villages near the Israel-Lebanon border were trying to return home, defying orders by Israel's military. Israeli forces were supposed to withdraw from the area Sunday as part of a ceasefire deal, but the deadline has been extended to February 18th. Tomorrow marks International Holocaust Remembrance Day. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will be in Poland for events to mark the 80th anniversary of the liberation of Auschwitz. Trudeau boarded a plane in Ottawa this morning. Auschwitz was the largest of the Nazi regime's concentration camps. More than 1 million people died there. The Prime Minister will attend a commemorative event at the site and meet with Holocaust survivors. Here is a live shot of snowy Revelstoke, BC. I'll have your full forecast after the break.
This is Vancouver is a new CBC podcast where we explore the issues, the stories, and the people that make this place home. Listen to This is Vancouver wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for a look at our BC-wide forecast. Starting with tonight, we're looking at a cloudy night for many parts of the province. In Dease Lake, -14, partly cloudy with some wind as well. -3 in Fort St. John, -12 in Prince George, -11 in Williams Lake, and -7 in Kamloops. The coldest city on the board tonight is Cranbrook. Now, looking at tomorrow, we're gonna see sunshine across much of the province and fairly moderate temperatures. -4 in Dease Lake, +7 in Fort St. John, +1 in Terrace, -3 in Prince George, and -7 in Golden. Much warmer on the island, +6 in Victoria, and +7 in Tofino. Now looking at Metro Vancouver, high temperatures expected throughout the week, and we're slated to get periods of rain Thursday and Friday, ending our sunny streak. A Kamloops dog is in the top 15 of an international contest. 8-year-old Jet is in the running to become America's favorite pet, and for good reason. He can do all kinds of useful tricks like carrying groceries and sorting out recycling. Jennifer Norwell met the dog and his owner. Take a look.
My name is Derek Moulter, and I'm currently sitting beside my son, Jet. Can I help you with recycling? He's a 9-year-old German Shepherd that I've trained up to a little bit higher level than you typically see in the average household. You know, just over the years that we've been doing it, I don't even have to tell him which bin it goes in anymore. He just knows. He flips up the garbage can for garbage. You know, he's my rock star. Come here. Hey, I tell him nothing. He lets himself in the house. Once he's done outside, he turns around, closes the door behind him. He'll go bring me my shoes when they're ready to go somewhere. He sorts garbage and recycling for me. He'll carry grocery bags home from the store. It's a point of pride for me. Let's just go. Wait. Hey, where's this going? We got a good life together.
A round of applause for that good boy. And that is your late news for this Sunday. Thank you so much for watching. For news anytime, visit our website, cbc.ca/BC. Your next local news is on the early edition on CBC Radio 1. That starts tomorrow morning at 5:30. Have a great night.